Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Really excited to get going with you all. Hope you're all doing well. And for those who are parents, hope you're surviving half term. So we'll get going in a moment, but just whilst we wait, if you could share in the chat where you're based, that would be great. And if you want to give a little introduction as well into you and your membership, if you have one already, or your membership that you're wanting to create, that would be amazing to get to know each other. The group chat is open, but you can, actually public chat is disabled. So I'll just turn the public chat on, but you can also private message me as well. We'll just wait a few more moments for people to join. All right, so this topic, I really have enjoyed making this webinar because I definitely used to hate social media, and a lot of the people that I coach and speak to regularly find social media is one of the biggest drains of their time and can really take up quite a lot of brain space, especially when it doesn't feel like all of the energy and time that you're putting in is actually getting you results. I can completely understand how that feels quite disheartening. So hopefully this webinar gives you a bit of motivation and a bit of framework and inspiration to turn that around and start to really enjoy creating again, because it's meant to be an enjoyable experience, sharing your story and getting in front of people who want to join your membership. It should be an enjoyable experience, not like a uphill battle. So yeah, if anyone wants to share where they're joining from, that would be great. And otherwise we will get going in a minute. So it would be great to hear kind of where everyone's at the moment before we really get going. So if you can write in the chat or privately to me what best describes your situation. So the ghost poster, you've got a bit quiet, you want to show up, but your motivation's low and you just don't really know what to post. The inconsistent creator, so you post when you can, but there's not really a plan or strategy behind it. C, the content machine, however, no conversion. So you're creating loads of content, like taking up loads of time, but it's not converting into signups in your membership. Or D, the strategic storyteller. So you're starting to be more intentional with your content to nurture your audience and prepare for a launch. So I'm actually talking about January launch mainly here, but this equally could transition to Black Friday launch or any kind of launch that you've got coming up. So if you want to share in the chat where you are at A, B, C, or D, that would be great. Cool, yeah. Yes, I definitely hover between a B and a D as well, I think. Yeah, A and or B, yeah. Similar stories from most people, which is good because it means we're all in the right place and of a similar level. So by the end of this webinar, you'll have a clear content plan to keep your audience warm and engaged through Q4 and a simple system to repurpose your posts so that you can save loads of time. There's also consistency with what you're saying. It builds trust, and yeah, your January launch can practically run itself at this point. So stay until the end and you'll get a free discovery call with me. So this is where we will create a strategic plan for you and go through a real marketing strategy for what your launch is going to be, whether that's Black Friday or January. And you'll also get our repurposing system and ChatGPT prompts that are real gold dust and have really helped me with my content plans. So you're going to get them if you're joining live. So a little introduction into me. So my name's Kat. I'm a yoga teacher, women's health coach, and a business coach as well. And I'm now based in Bristol in the UK. Before I joined Sudor and their sales team, I had a background in digital marketing, and I was head of the marketing for a yoga studio in the UK. I now have my own app with Sudor as well, and I am their in-house business coach for creators who really want to scale, so I can help turn your passion into a profitable and sustainable career. So you're in the right place if you've noticed that your content has gone a bit quiet and you'd like to rebuild momentum before January, like I'm sure many of you are, which is why you joined. If you're tired of posting without seeing real engagement or conversions, if you want to stay visible and connected with your audience, even taking time off Christmas, which we all want to do, of course. And if you've got a challenge or offer coming up and want your followers ready to join when you launch. So really using this time to nurture them, which is a really, really good time of year to do that. And I will explain a little more later why. So the end of the year can feel quite quiet. We've run out of steam slightly, a bit burnt out. Christmas coming up gets in the way. But the coaches who do really, really well in January are the ones who keep their audience warm in Q4. So today's goal is to help you nurture your audience now so that they're ready to buy later, whether that's Black Friday or January. So the kind of idea, I'll start posting again properly in January. Well, by then your audience will have been warmed up by someone else, if you think about it like that. So really set the groundwork now is going to really help you be successful in the future. Sorry, my dog is being really annoying. So the opportunity now is to use November and December to build trust and visibility without burning out. And this is what the framework that we'll go through today. So we're going to cover how to build trust that turns followers into future members, use storytelling to nurture your audience so that they're ready to join, and then create a pre-launch content plan that saves you hours over Christmas. All right, so let's dive in. If we have any questions as we go through, please do feel free to write in the chat and ask. So I'm here to help, and we'll have a bit of time for Q&A at the end after as well. So building trust that turns followers into future members. So people don't buy because of algorithms. They buy because they trust you. And this is especially important in the online space, which is quite saturated. Why would someone pick your Pilates classes or your yoga classes over the thousands of others? And it's because of you. You know, the systems, the framework, the classes are similar. The difference is you. And so your content really needs to help make you shine through as the USP because you are the USP. So content that creates a sense of trust and storytelling is what's going to build that trust to get people to convert and choose you. Of course, adding value and sharing tips is really important as well, but the real fundamentals should be bringing people into your world. And if that means being vulnerable, being slightly messy, being very real, then that's actually a good thing because no one's perfect. So if you show up as a real, authentic human, people will trust you more. So yeah, don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need to be perfect, and your content does not need to be perfect either. So how do we build trust online then? Well, consistency is key. So they see you often. Consistency can look like different things for different people. It might look like posting every single day. If that's not sustainable for you, it might be posting every other day, or maybe there's certain days of the week, say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where you post. And try to stick with that and be consistent because people are then going to start to trust you. They're going to expect posts from you, and you're going to seem and feel reliable to them, which is really important. If you suddenly start posting every day or twice a day and then disappear for 2 weeks, it's going to build a bit of inconsistency and confusion with your audience because they're not really going to understand what you're doing, where you've gone and that kind of thing. So try to be consistent. And if that means sticking to posting less, but being more consistent, that's a really good thing. How often should we be posting? That's a great question. I would say there's no golden rule here. It really is more important to be consistent. So if that means for you posting 2 or 3 times a week and you can stick to that, then do that. If you can post every day, great, do that. But the quality of the posts are really important, firstly. So we don't want to be sacrificing that. And also, I think stories are very undervalued as well. Stories, ideally, you should always have a story up. So when someone new lands on your Instagram profile, if there's not a story there, they will think it's a bit of a dead page or not much activities going on. People, if you think about when you land on someone's profile and want to check them out, one of the first things you'll do is look at their stories. So that's really, really important. So ideally, you want to be mentioning yourself, your story, your membership at some point throughout the day, every day if possible. And then the posts can come when you can. So just be consistent with them, but it doesn't have to be every day. But yeah, great question. So number 2, another way we build trust is credibility. So they believe that you know your stuff. So be really sure with your stance on things, even if it kind of is a bit of a different viewpoint than others, in a way that can be a good thing because you're standing out and you're confident in what you're saying. And the delivery of what you're saying is really important as well. So really embody the sense of like a confident coach who knows what they're talking about when you're speaking. It makes such a difference in how you look, what you wear, the backgrounds that you film behind. All of that kind of stuff builds credibility. So do just have that in mind when you're posting. And then connection. So they feel like you get them. This is one of the first things that we do in my coaching for Sudor creators, is understanding your ideal client inside out. And it's so important for many reasons, but one of the reasons why it's important is so that we can build that sense of connection. We feel like we can get them because we do get them. We know what their problems are. We know what their desires are. We know what's holding them back. And then we can talk about this in our content. So we can say, hey, I know when you wake up, you feel so deflated and tired and you just can't be bothered to wake up. And I know that your goal is X, Y, Z. So when people see that, they think, oh, she really gets me. She really understands me. This is the coach for me, or this is the membership for me. So consistency, credibility, and connection are how we build the trust online. So then how do we do that? Through content pillars. So number 1 is authority. So, and when I talk about content pillars, this can be a really helpful framework for you to make sure that your content is kind of hitting all of these different angles in a way. So if you use ChatGPT, you could use ChatGPT and say, I have these 3 content pillars: authority, relatability, and proof. Make me a content plan that includes all 3, and kind of cycle through them. Or another way you could do it would be, Monday is my authority day, Wednesday is my relatability day, Friday is my proof day. And you just stick to each day with a different pillar. That can work quite well as well. But number 1, authority. So tips, education, expertise. Show them that you're the one to help them. Number 2, relatability. So stories, behind the scenes, struggles. Show them that you're human. That's really important. And then number 3, proof. So transformations, testimonials, screenshots, stories from previous members or clients, or even your own story, to show that your method works. If you can have some sort of method or framework or system that you name, that's really powerful as well. And you can use that in this pillar. So, the 3-2-1 method, that's maybe 3 cardio, 2 strength, 1 Pilates a week, something like that. It doesn't have to be anything completely groundbreaking, but if you can just name some sort of method and have that as your method, that's really powerful. Do you recommend jumping on Instagram trends or staying true to the pillars? That's a really great question. I would recommend pre-planning all of your content using content pillars, and not just relying on trends, because when you just rely on trends, you're going to be flapping around all over the place. It's all going to feel quite last minute. If you stick to these pillars, say 3 times a week, you're still leaving yourself a couple days a week where, if you have extra time and there's a trend that you've seen that you like, you can slot that in as like an add-on extra. But the foundation and the basis of your content strategy comes from these pillars. It's carefully planned with the future in mind of what it is that you're wanting to do. Like, what is the point of this piece of content? That's the bread and butter. And then any Instagram trends that you want to have on top, you can then add on top. So yeah, I think having like 3 or 4 set ones a week, if possible, maybe even 2, but then an extra one for trends if you have time. But that's a nice to have, not an essential. So here's some insights into content that's working really well at the moment. And I've had personal experience with this. So carousels with images from your camera roll. I really think this is coming from people being quite tired of ChatGPT. You know immediately when something's being written by ChatGPT, like when you read a long caption and you just think, this isn't them writing this. And I think people are now craving that real sense of like authenticity. So I've seen a lot on Instagram, and I've done it myself, of just finding quite raw photos on camera, on my camera roll, and then posting them as carousels just with text on top. So I'm literally making it in the Instagram app, and it's really, really easy to create. That's working really well. Ideal length for reels, it really varies what the reel is and what the outcome wants to be. Storytelling reels that are a bit longer work really well, and the algorithm actually favors the watch time. So it used to be just if someone completes the reel, that the algorithm boosts it. So that was why there was that whole kind of phase of these like 2-second reels that were just looping, because that would then get loads of real views. But now Instagram is trying to also promote longer form content. So actually the longer that you have someone watching a reel, the better it performs as well. So actually if you're speaking in the reel, maybe it's a voiceover, or maybe you're speaking to the camera, and it's maybe even like up to a minute, that performs really well as well. But just make sure you've got different shots going on and you're telling a story so that people stay engaged to watch it. And also have captions. That's really important as well. Captions are really important for reels and also for stories to keep people's brain engaged. So number 2, speaking reels with your camera face to face whilst walking, working really well at the moment with captions. And then number 3, voiceover with day-to-day shots, life behind the scenes, and that would be a reel as well. I'm leaning towards the longer form reels at the moment, because they're a really good opportunity for people to get to know you more, and build that sense of like and trust. But of course, a mixture of all 3 is ideal. If you're stuck on what to post, I would highly recommend, though, a carousel with images from your camera reel. So easy. You've already got the images and you just put on the text. And I'll give you a few examples of what those could be. So some that are working really well to build this sense of trust. 1, your role, 10 obsessions. So I did this post recently. It performed really well. So I did 1 yoga teacher and health coach, 10 obsessions. And then it was literally, number 1, I think it was like dates with peanut butter. Number 2, helping women realize their superpower. Number 3. So obviously some of it will be tied into your role and your membership and your business, but also some are just, real life things of what you enjoy. And that gives that sense of realness and authenticity. So I'd highly recommend that one. Number 2, lessons I'm learning about your thing so far. So lessons I'm learning about women's fitness so far, or lessons I'm learning about building muscles at 40 plus so far. And then again, it could be carousels, or this could be a reel as well. And then number 3, the advice I wish I'd had. So a few different options here. I turned 45 this year. Here's what I knew when I was 20. Or I've worked in your industry for however many years. Here's the advice I wish someone had given me when I started. Again, really lends itself to a carousel, or it could be a reel. If I could talk to my younger self, this is what I'd say about this topic, about losing weight in your 30s, or whatever it is. If you do carousels and use images from your camera roll, I would highly recommend using an image with your face in it in the first few slides, so that again people get to see you, because you're the USP, remember. So hopefully that helps. You might want to just note any of them down. Thank you. All right, so part 2, using storytelling to nurture your audience. So why does storytelling work? So it lights up emotion in people, and people make decisions and buy things based on their emotional brain most of the time. You want people to really feel excited. When their logical brain then steps in, that's when their brain tells them, you're not going to do it, it's too expensive, there are barriers in the way. But you really want to evoke the emotional brain for people to take action. So that's why storytelling content works so well. Emotion also creates connection, so they're going to feel connected to you and then more likely to join and kind of get involved. And also, of course, it builds trust as well. People don't remember facts, they remember how you made them feel. So really focus on that. And that's also why we say with Sudor that people come for the content, but they really stay for the community. So building in that sense of storytelling, connection, community, and all of your content is going to help promote your membership, because that's what we want to be building, is this sense of community through your membership. So you've got 3 story angles that you can go for. So your origin story. So why is it that you do what you do? Number two, client community stories. So this is basically proof that your method works. And then three, mini moments. So just relatable everyday snippets that your audience sees themselves in. So that might be like, yeah, your morning routine or little things that annoy you throughout the day, or just something relatable that everyone can understand and relate to, showing that you're not perfect and you're not a robot. So if you want to write out three story angles now, then you can do so. Why you do what you do, what was the main moment that made you think I need to have this membership, or I need to be an online coach, or whatever, wherever you are at the moment with it. What's your origin story? And making sure that that's really crystal clear. Then you might want to note down, do I have any previous members that have shared particular stories with me, or transformations, life-changing things even, and just remember and note them down. This can also be a really great exercise if you're feeling a little bit flat and stagnant with everything, like just to remember your why and really your impact as well. And then mini moments. So can you think of anything that you can share that people will relate to? So maybe that's like behind the scenes of you filming, maybe that's bloopers of where it's gone wrong, maybe that's you snacking because you're bored and you're having loads of crisps or something, but you understand that maybe you shouldn't, but also you're human and that's okay as well. Things like that. So take a moment to just write them down, because these are going to create really good content. Alrighty. But how do we use these storytelling prompts to then lead into your offer? So we can structure your story that we've developed here into this kind of framework, this structure. The hook, the relatable problem, the shift, the solution, the invitation. The hook, the relatable problem, the shift, the solution, the invitation. And I'll show you in some content how that's structured. So example one, hook. I used to think you needed hours in the gym to get results. Problem. So I overtrained, I got burnt out and saw zero progress. Shift. The truth, short intentional workouts and mindset tweaks made all the difference. The solution, my program in the app teaches you how to train smart, stay consistent and get results quickly. Invitation, I'll show you how in my upcoming January challenge. So you can see how instead of just going in with, I've got an upcoming January challenge and it's short classes that will help you stay consistent and get results. That's okay. But what's a lot stronger is this bit, the hook, the problem, and the shift. So it's relatable and it tells a story with what you're trying to say, so that people can read it and relate to it. And then it stirs up that emotion and then they take action. So that kind of priming of it is really, really important. Number two, one of my clients, so this is not with yourself, but this would be potentially using a client success story. One of my clients, Sarah, used to dread strength training. She felt intimidated by gyms and confused by workouts. So we designed home-based beginner-friendly program for her. And in 6 weeks, she gained strength, confidence, and even started teaching her kids workouts. And I'll guide you through the same method in my next challenge. So you can see here by using things like she even started teaching her kids workouts. People are going to read that and start to see themselves in this, and relate to it, and then feel connected to it and want to take part in it. Yes, exactly, like following a recipe. Yeah, I love that. So yeah, you might just want to note this down, but we will be sending out the webinar recording after, so that you'll have this to kind of look back on, because it is a really, really good way of like getting an idea of what we started with. You can write down your ideas, and then from that idea, you can then write down with this framework and how to turn it into an actual piece of content. All right, so part 3, creating a pre-launch content plan that saves you hours over Christmas, because we all want to be relaxing and not posting loads over Christmas for sure. So December is when your audience is watching, not buying. So no one really makes big decisions in the lead up to Christmas in terms of health and wellness. People are thinking about Christmas presents, buying other stuff, probably a bit worried about money. and a lot of this kind of stuff gets parked. Any big decisions, and because we all are just brain overloaded, a lot of big decisions or any other decisions that's not Christmas focused just get parked, don't they? They don't get thought about. So at this point in time, ideally, you don't want to be selling, because it's going to put people off. Ideally, you want to be using this time to nurture your audience, to grow and nurture. So you can absolutely get in front of new audiences, but you want to be then nurturing them. You're not selling to them at this moment. So you can then show up with intention, and then your January posts will be going out to a primed and warmed audience and will be a lot more likely to convert to whatever it is that you're then wanting to promote. So Twixmas, that period between Christmas and New Year, is actually one of the best time for ads. I ran a really successful ad campaign last year between this time. You'd think that it wouldn't work well, but it actually worked really well, because if you think about it, a lot of people are spending a lot more time sitting on the sofa, chilling during the day, scrolling on their phones, probably, sadly, but true. And so they're going to be available to see ads. So actually getting yourself in front of these people is a really good idea with nurturing kind of posts. So we're not selling, but we're just nurturing. So if you did want to run an ads campaign, something that was boosting content, that was sharing your story, telling them your why, maybe sharing about the membership but not selling it, just getting them onto your Instagram profile, sharing your freebie, for instance, would be great as well. Doreen, does it make sense to launch challenges in December or rather wait for Jan? Great question. I would say if you want to, I've actually spoken to a few people recently who, and I think I might do this myself, run a short challenge at the start of December of like a 12 days of Christmas type challenge. So 12 days of wellness, 12 days of strength, 12 days of something. And it's kind of like a short, very short and easy to do practice or task once a day for the first 12 days of December. That could work quite well. I would say any later than the 12th of December, you're going to lose people. So I would not do a challenge after that. And then in terms of January, I think there's a lot of hype and pressure on January being the best time for a challenge, which in some ways it is. But in a lot of ways, it isn't, because there's so much competition and it's just after Christmas. People are still quite frazzled. So I would suggest pushing your January challenge back to at least mid to end of January. February can sometimes work even better because there's less competition. But yeah, at least middle of January. I did it one year before where I ran a challenge like the first week of January, thinking, oh, everyone's going to be so excited to get back on it straight away. The reality is that they're not. Schools go back, people need a bit of time to kind of recover. But also when you run a challenge at the start of January, it does kind of also mean you have to sacrifice your Christmas, because you're worrying about getting people signed up and making all the content and all of this kind of stuff. So middle to end of January actually works best, I think, for challenges. But yeah, if you did want to run ads campaign, and this is something that we work together in my coaching, the time between Christmas and New Year is really, really important. And the kind of content that I've been speaking about today is the best kind of content to promote. So that storytelling, that nurturing, that authentic kind of content is really, really good to push here. And then you're going to have a lovely warm audience ready for your January challenge. So here is a 4-week warm-up plan, and I put topic related here because what I mean by this is, say if your January challenge, and we're talking about January here, is lower back pain, let's say, you need to start thinking about bringing that theme into your content from week 1. So make people problem aware, why are they having back pain? Why is it a problem? Why is it impacting their life? Then educate and empower, tips, value posts, mini trainings. Week 3, build excitement. So behind the scenes of building the offer or challenge, deadline approaching. That should say build urgency. And then week 4, anticipation and sign up. So countdown, testimonials, urgency. It doesn't have to necessarily follow like week by week, but this is the kind of order, I guess, of what you should be doing with your content plan leading up to a challenge. And when running a challenge or some sort of launch, I would say about 2 weeks run up before is great. So week 3 would be where you would actually launch it. Week 1 and week 2 are kind of like prep weeks. So you're bringing in the idea of the topic, you're warming up and really nurturing your audience so that when you do share, it's really kind of at the front of people's minds, and then you'll get a lot more signups. Okay, so hopefully you'll now have a content strategy to keep your audience engaged and that you could use for ads over Twixmas, a storytelling framework to turn wins and moments into connection, and a 4-week launch plan to save time and reduce stress for your next launch. So your action points now are to map out your 4-week warm-up content using the storytelling and trust building framework. So do look back on this on these slides to get that. And then also repurpose and post. So turning each piece of content into multiple posts, emails, and stories to stay visible without extra work. In the bonus, if you've joined live, we've got this all written down for you. But basically, in a nutshell, you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. If you've got a carousel that's, say, one of the ones I mentioned before, so like one yoga teacher, 10 obsessions, and you've written them all out, and maybe the caption you write a little bit about kind of your story or your journey into being a yoga teacher. All of that, you can literally copy and paste all of that text and turn it into a really great email. Equally, any kind of tips and tricks that you're sharing in a reel, any of the previous ones that I mentioned. So say this, literally copy and paste it, make it into an email. So make sure that you're doing that for yourself, because it's going to save you so much more time. And you do want to be hitting people from different angles as well. Equally, a reel could turn into a carousel. So say you have this as a reel, turn this into a carousel. If you have a carousel, turn it into a reel, then you can also turn it into a story. So one idea can turn into 5 different things. And that's also going to save you a lot of time. Perfect. All right. So if you're listening to this and thinking this all sounds great, but I don't really know what my next launch is or how to get there, then I would highly suggest you book in a free strategy session with me. These sessions are really, really valuable. People always get a lot out of them. I'm going to pop the book a call link button below so that you can find a time in my calendar. It will be a 20-minute marketing strategy session. So we can look through your content, make you a bit of a content plan, but also create a bit of a strategy for you to actually really get new members with a launch. And if you want then help to implement this strategy and have all the template support and guidance you need, both on social media and emails, then we have a special offer for you. So we have a group coaching cohort with maximum other 5 pseudo creators. Slightly less investment than the one-to-one, but the same impact. We've had amazing results so far. People sort of getting nearly double the amount of new members in one challenge that we run together within the 6 weeks, which is really, really great to see. Thank you, Richard. And our next round, these nearly always fill up. Our next round is on the 10th of November. So for this round in particular, I really want to focus on people who would like to consider starting or building a 12 days of Christmas type challenge that we will run through together, and also be open to running ads between Christmas and New Year to build their audience for a really epic January. So that's what we're going to be kind of covering in this 6 weeks. It's going to be really, really value packed, tangible results, and really driven by results. We get a weekly Zoom coaching call, live implementation with me, as I said, all the templates, funnels, and email scripts that you need, and personalized Monday to Friday support for content review and questions. So that's just one-on-one support with me, which obviously is super, super valuable. Thanks, Tisha. I will send the new one now. I think we changed the link and perhaps hasn't updated on the webinar. I'll just pop it in the group chat here. So book your free strategy session. No pressure at all. We'll still go through your strategy. And then, as I said, if you do want help implementing that and would like to hear more about the group coaching, then you can ask me questions on the call. This is just some words of previous coaching clients. So that's from one person. Was awesome through the 6 weeks. Each call was delivered with such detail, clarity, and manageable targets. I achieved the goal I set out, which was a bonus. Being around other creators on the app made it a safe space to share ideas and struggle. And I got more from this course than I ever thought I would. I really actually love these group cohorts. We have a group WhatsApp group, and the support and the encouragement and the feeling of you're not doing it alone is really, really special. So yeah, really looking forward to the next one. Anyone has any questions, the floor is open for that. Hopefully, I will chat with some of you in our marketing session coming up. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. We will definitely send these slides over so that you have them for reference to look back on when you're making your marketing plan. And I would highly recommend booking in a call with me so that we can really chat it through and actually kind of get it out of your head and actually into reality, and realize that for you. So yeah, hopefully we will chat soon. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and any questions, do let me know. Otherwise, well done for joining or catching up if you caught up. I know it's half term, so I can imagine quite a few people are busy and having to watch this on record. But yeah, I'll stick around for a few moments. Otherwise, well done for joining and best of luck with everything. I hope we will speak soon in your strategy session. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We'll pop the book a call link in the follow-up email as well. Cool. All right, then. I see some calls coming in already, which is great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye. Bye.